Hey everybody, so it is Ola967 here with a brand new YouTube video. This is going to be my first in a series of 3 guides for my main, which is Pokemon Trainer. This one that you're currently watching is for Squirtle, and then I'll obviously do ones for Ivysaur and Charizard separately. I love this character a lot. I grew up playing Brawl, and I basically only played solo Pokemon Trainer, mainly just Charizard. Because Charizard's like my favorite Pokemon. I didn't really care much for the other two. I play them occasionally, but it was like mainly solo Zard. And then of course in Smash 4, it was only Charizard, so I was super happy about that. So I mained Charizard for quite a long period of time. And of course when the character got announced for Ultimate, I was super happy. Especially since I decided that I wanted to take the game much more seriously than what I had with past iterations. So it was a no-brainer for me to pick up this character. So I know that there are quite a few guides already that cover how to play the character specifically. And of course, Ultimate's been out for, over 2 years at this point. So there's just, a lot of different content that's already online. But I feel that there hasn't been a recent or an updated guide for how to play the character. And I think that with the patches and the changes that the characters received over the course of the 2-year period, it'd be nice to just go back and take a look at, some of the things and what's kind of deemed optimal in the current meta. So, yeah, let's get started with just general thoughts and opinions on Squirtle and what I think the game plan should be when using it. In terms of my thoughts on Squirtle, I think that, Pokemon Trainer as a whole is clearly a top tier in my opinion. Definitely a top 10 character. Squirtle in particular, I think he is the best of the 3. I think that the order is Squirtle first, then Ivysaur, then Charizard. Now, obviously, opinions are going to differ depending on like which Pokemon Trainer player you ask, but I just think that what you can do with Squirtle in particular is super, super oppressive compared to what you can achieve with the other two. And that's why I think that he's so good. It's also really hard to hit Squirtle because of how small he is and how fast he is. He's zooming around the place. A lot of characters don't have the tools to catch him, so you can get away with a lot of things in that department. And he has really good frame data. A lot of his moves come out incredibly fast, meaning that he's going to be able to start combos quickly, he's going to be able to oppress opponents quicker, and he's just going to have a way easier time connecting strings, especially much longer ones. Because Ivysaur will, of course, have a combo game, right? But the strings that you get with Ivysaur are not going to be super, super long. Whereas with Squirtle, you can get a ton of hits off in a string, and you can take an opponent from 0 to 80 in some instances, especially on much heavier characters with big frames like Donkey Kong and Bowser. In terms of game plan for Squirtle and what you should be trying to do, a lot of trainer players run by the basic rule of thumb of use Squirtle at low percents to get combos and then switch out when you can't do those combos because there's no point anymore. And also, Squirtle is very susceptible to dying incredibly early because of how light he is, being one of the lightest characters in the game. Although this is good in theory to play it like this, it's very static. And when you get to that really like high and top level, it's best to be kind of just using the Pokemon on the fly and not being so stuck in a, I guess, organized and very categorical approach to when you should be using them. I think that sticking to Squirtle at low percent is great in a lot of matchups because of the strings that you can get. But I think that in some matchups, it's obviously better to switch to Ivysaur at low percent, and in some instances, it's better to just use Charizard. Of course, at high percents, Squirtle is also decent. Yeah, sure, he's not going to be able to get kills as good as the other two Pokemon. It's better to swap in that regard, but he does still have access to some Jab Lock F Smash stuff. He gets Back Throw. You can also do Up Tilt Waterfall, which is an interesting kill confirm that works on some of the casts near the ledge. but it's also good to be using Squirtle at late percent to avoid things. Because of how good he is at not getting hit, yeah, sure, if he gets hit, he's going to die, but it's going to be hard for the opponent to really catch him. So he's really good for just flustering people and trying to, I guess, stay alive longer against characters that have smaller hitboxes. For me personally, Squirtle's moves are all super, super good. He only has about 1 or 2 bad moves, and even then, they do have a slight sort of amount of usage to them. So let me just demonstrate really quickly. My Squirtle is also my worst of the 3. For me personally, Ivysaur is my best, followed by Zard, followed by Squirtle. It's not to say that my Squirtle is bad by any means necessary. I think that my Squirtle is still really good. It's just that I started practicing Squirtle incredibly hardcore much later than the other two, because in my opinion, he's also the most difficult to master. And so as a result, he's a little bit behind the others, but it's not too much of a problem. So in terms of jab, he has a frame 2 jab. It's 3 hits. It's really good for, like, I guess when you're landing and the opponent's right on you and you want to just get rid of some pressure. It's nice to throw out. Also at much later percents, it's great for, of course, doing a jab lock, which Squirtle can get a lot off of when trying to nab kills. Throw them up. 1, 2, here we go. So you can get a lot off of that. That's very useful. You can also use F-tilt sometimes to start off a jab lock. Because, I mean, you're just blocking the opponent in place, and then you can do another jab, and then finish off with a smash attack. Apart from that, jab doesn't really have many other uses. It's just a jab. But F-tilt is one of Squirtle's best moves. It could potentially even be his best, although I would argue that forward air is also in contention, as well as up air for starting combos. It's true into grab. It's also true into itself if you do sliding F-tilt at higher percents. It's just a super useful combo starter. It's also great for, I guess, pushing opponents away and getting people off you. It's frame 5, so once again, it comes out super, super fast. And it's also really good at ledge for ledge traps, even though I would argue that down tilt is better in some instances. But F tilt is quicker than down tilt, and it's still going to be catching people, so it's great for 2 frames. Honestly, I love it. See, it'll combo into that. Like I said earlier, you can kind of start a little bit of a jab lock off of it too, which is nice. So all around, great move. Up tilt, I would say, is one of Squirtle's weaker moves, along with up smash. It doesn't really serve too much of a usage in the heat of battle, I feel. At higher percents, you can get that up tilt waterfall, but it's an incredibly sus kill confirm, and I don't really advise going for it all that much. Let me see if I can actually pull it off. Yeah, it's very iffy. And there's not really much of a point in doing it, so definitely wouldn't advise it. But it's a very good combo extender as well. Does a decent amount of damage. I believe it does start comboing into itself. Potentially not on Ness, but on bigger characters it will. You can kind of do stuff like, I guess, up tilt, up air, but like all around, it's not really that useful. It just doesn't really do all that much for him. And it's just, it's better to be throwing out, I guess, an up air perhaps. Just covers more area. Up air is also way better at starting combos too, so. All around more useful tool. The down tilt, I already mentioned it. Down tilt's an okay move. It does lack in the frames department compared to the other grounded moves that Squirtle has. It's just frame 8, so it's still pretty decent. Like I said before, it's really good for 2 frames, and it does have quite a considerable amount of range to it, which is also nice. But in terms of, like, an actual like usage in the middle of a match, it's just much better to go for F tilt. You can of course get like Nair down tilt. Yeah, so you can get Nair down tilt, which is decent, 21%. But then again, why would you do that when you could just go for Nair F tilt, which can get you way more percent, because you have access to a whole amount of combo trees and flowcharts that you can take. So it's just much better for Squirtle to be doing that. Dash attack is another interesting option. I used to use dash attack a lot, but not so much anymore. It's an okay first option. Frame 8, just like down tilt, just sends them up. At higher percent, it will combo into up air, so you can actually do like dash attack, up air, maybe even a waterfall, even though that's not true. You try to go for a second up air, maybe even a forward air if they come out a little bit further in front of you. But all in all, I just don't really think it's like too decent of a move. I know that you can do forward air, dash attack, but like forward air has just got so many better uses than just into dash attack. But I think it's really solid move, so you shouldn't really be following it up with something so weak like dash attack, where the amount that you're gonna get off of that advantage stage is gonna be so slim. The damage is just not gonna be up there compared to other options that you could take. In terms of aerials, Nair is amazing. I love Nair. It's one of my favorite moves. It's super clutch, super clean in my opinion. It's frame 4, so it is Squirtle's best out of shield option. It's great just if someone's on you. Of course, you just pop it out. It's literally just gonna get people off you incredibly quickly. And it's also really good for starting combos. Of course, it doesn't have like a large hitbox sticking out in front of Squirtle, like forward air or back air. But it's still pretty decent, because of course you can Nair F tilt, any kind of combo that you want. It's really nice for some of that stuff. You can also just get Nair straight into grab too, which is clean. So yeah, all in all, really good choice. Now, forward air is probably Squirtle's best move. It's in contention, as I mentioned earlier. I love forward air. It's Squirtle's main approach option, I feel, and it's just really decent. Comes out at frame 5, and just look how, because a lot of Squirtle's stuff, he really suffers from not having too much range. He's got little like stubby hands and whatnot. He doesn't really go too far, but like with moves like F tilt and forward air, that's why they're so good, because they extend further out in front of him, so he's able to land these hits from a slightly further distance. I'll go into combos later, but forward air, it's so good for just approaching and just getting all up in people's faces and actually applying damage and whatnot. But it also is super good at starting combos for him. Forward air can link into pretty much every aerial and a bunch of other options too. So it's super clutch in terms of getting the massive damage output on combos that Squirtle is known for. And a lot of strings, in my opinion, really should be starting with that or F tilt. But you can actually get forward air into F tilt on certain characters that fall faster. So yeah, it's really good for starting strings. The whole point of Squirtle and the whole focus should be landing moves that give you access to high damage output strings. That's the whole purpose of the character, is to land those big juicy combos. It's what makes him Squirtle. It's what makes him clutch. And like I said, Ivysaur's got his combos. Ivysaur can do his stuff, but Ivysaur also can zone, do raw damage here and there. He can kind of just dominate neutral. Charizard is all about stray hits, oppressing people with how dangerous he can be at high percent, and how scary Rage Charizard is, and the fact that he just does not die. So Squirtle's whole thing is the insane combo game. If you're not landing combos with Squirtle, you're not really playing him properly. So in terms of back air, Love back air. I think it's great. Super, super solid. I used to use it a whole lot more than forward air, but I've decided that forward air is just much better. Back air is also frame 5, but you can't really get as many follow-ups off of it, so forward air is just a more solid option. Not to mention the fact that since back air is, multi-hit, it does come with a considerable amount of lag, so to say, compared to just forward air, which is only one hit. Because forward air is -3 on shield, but back air is -15, making it relatively unsafe compared to other options that Squirtle has. So just be careful when using it. It is really good for finishing strings, I feel, especially lower damage strings. So, for example, you can do forward air into back air. You can do down throw back air. You can actually do up throw, raw up air back air. So it's just really good for ending strings like that because of the good amount of damage it does, and the fact that it does push opponents relatively far away. So it's pretty clean in that regard. But yeah, you can't really start any combos off of it, except for, I believe, landing back air F tilt, which is pretty decent. But apart from that, there's not really anything that you can get off of back air. But it's still a pretty good move. Up next is Squirtle's up air, which is another one of my favorite moves. I love up air. It's so good. Covers a lot of space. It's really good for getting the ladders that Squirtle loves as well off of down throw. Does a decent amount of damage too. Look at that, 7.1. It's not, as much as a move like Squirtle's back air, which does 10.2. Yeah, sure, you're gonna have a tougher time landing it against Ness because he's short. See, that was only 3%, but yeah, up air is pretty good because you got to think about it this way. You got 7.1 off of one hit, but when you're stringing 3-4 of those together, that's a lot of damage, and it has the ability to do that. It's also a really good tool to cover space if people landing from on top of you. It's also really good for starting combos because you can get up air into forward air, you can get up air into back air, so it's really good. You can actually also get up air into down air. I'll talk about it later. So all around, good stuff. And then moving on, just talked about it briefly there, but Squirtle down air. Squirtle down air is essential for high damage output combos. What he can get off down air is pretty insane. But the way that down air works is a little different when you're actually just using it for combos, because you need to pull away at the last second to pop the character out in front of you, because if you don't do that, then, see, the final hit's not going to register, and Ness just popped out right beneath Squirtle, and Squirtle came out in front. It's really, really good for combos, though. It does actually through confirm into F-tilt. Also forward air on certain characters, too. It's all around super solid for starting things off because you get that extra damage, and then you can get a re-grab and do another combo that you could have done, right off the bat, but with down air and the F-tilt into the grab being true, you get that extra damage to start things off, so it's just a whole lot nicer. And like I said earlier, it's all about tacking on as much damage as you can with these Squirtle combos. So it's just another way of getting easy, free damage early on. And I mean, it also looks really cool. Like, Squirtle just spinning around like crazy. I think it's a dope move. Going on to Squirtle's smash attacks. He does have two good smash attacks. Up smash is the only one that's kind of like meh. His best is up for debate, though, between F smash and down smash. I think that they're both really good. Down smash might be the best because it is faster, it's safer, and it also covers like all around Squirtle. I used to finish off my jab blocks with down smash, but F smash is obviously the more optimal option because it's gonna just kill it earlier. But down smash is just super good for covering a lot of space. I like to use it a lot for ledge traps too. I think it's really decent. But if you're looking to kill, you should really be using F smash. It's a really powerful option for Squirtle. Definitely one of his better ways to get kills, like I said. And of course, you should be finishing off jab blocks with that. But yeah, mainly you should just be using down smash for like, you know, most, like the reason why you would be using most down smashes that cover both sides of your character, just in case, like, you know, it's in a, you know, tech situation and you don't know if they're going to roll behind you and you just want to cover that, you just throw out the down smash if you're kind of unsure of what option the opponent's going to take. And then, of course, F smash is just more so of nabbing that kill if you know where they are and, or you got like a jab block. Up smash should rarely be used. I'm not a fan of it. I just don't think it's all that good. It is slightly faster than F smash, but it's just when are you going to actually use this in combat? And it's also incredibly unsafe on shield. A good thing could be if you're up here and you're just, you know, attacking your opponent, you're ledge trapping him and edge guarding him like crazy. You're all up in his face, you're conditioning him. If he chooses like a weird option, he tries to like air dodge into the ground to like get past an up air, because you're just jumping up here and he thinks that you're gonna go for like an aerial. You can just kind of fastball bait that and do like an up smash, but like apart from that, it's like there's not really too much of a usage for it. I guess sometimes platform pressure, like it's really just good for reading air dodges, because it does do a pretty nice amount of damage and it can kill obviously, but I just don't really think it's too optimal. And yeah, it's most definitely Squirtle's worst move in my opinion. I think it's worse than up tilt. Yeah. Moving on to Squirtle's specials. They're all pretty good. I mean, obviously Pokemon Trainer really only has 3 specials for each Pokemon, since Down B is used for the Pokemon swap. Neutral B is very, very useful. It helps Squirtle dominate in certain matchups where opponents' recoveries are incredibly suspect. Like, for example, against, like, Chrom and Ike with their up Bs, and also Ike with his side B. You can literally just kill them at 0 by pushing them off with Water Gun. Like, it's super broken against characters like that. You can just exploit them. Also, for example, like, I'll just use the example of Mario. If Mario is coming with, like, up B and he's trying to do, like, a high angle, because, like, I don't know, he's gonna mix up against you, and you just Water Gun him while he's in free fall after that, you're just gonna blast him off, and he's just gonna fade away and slowly die. So it's just really, really good for nabbing kills like that. It's basically just gimping. But yeah. It's also really good for, like, momentum control. Like, look at that. Squirtle can actually drift pretty nice in the air with it. So that's pretty clean, especially when doing certain edge guards, and also when recovering from like really deep after an edge guard. I personally love this move a lot. It's also good for getting pressure off you in the heat of the battle. Someone's like coming up and they're in your face, and you know they have these like massive hitboxes. You don't know what to do because Squirtle has a tough time combating that. Because you know his hitboxes are very, very small. So obviously he's not going to get the best out of trades with characters like that. You can just shoot Water Gun. It's going to blast them off a bit, and you can have a little bit more space. You know, you can kind of regain center stage, and you kind of just work from there. So that's always a really good benefit of using the move. Side B is what I like to call beginner Squirtle's sort of crutch move. A lot of lower level Pokemon trainers love to mash Squirtle's side B. I think withdrawal is good. I don't think it should be used all the time. It's incredibly good for like a sort of recovery mix-up sometimes, or a burst option, like sort of like Water Gun. But if the opponent is more so grounded, it's better to use side B when they're in the air, because you can angle water gun, it's better to use water gun. I personally feel. It's just decent. You know, he goes really fast. It's kind of tough to react to sometimes. Okay, at 16.3, pretty good. You do get a decent amount of stage control from it. So it is nice for that. But if the opponent jumps on Squirtle, that's a problem. Because Squirtle's going to be lying on his back. You know, his arms and legs, he's going to be flailing, sticking them up all over the place. And he is very, very easy to kill when he's in that position. I don't know exactly the time frame for how long that lasts and how long it takes Squirtle to recover from being in that position. But it is not good. It's most certainly enough time for somebody to push Squirtle near ledge, charge a smash attack, and then murder him because of how light he is. So just be careful when using that move. And obviously, when using it off stage, do not bonk into like this stage and do something like that. It's a really big mistake that, you know, even I myself have made sometimes, especially a long time ago. Not so much anymore, obviously. But yeah. All in all, really good specials. I love those two a lot, but they're not my favorite of Squirtle's specials. My favorite is his up B. I think his up B is disgustingly broken, not necessarily in terms of recovery, but in terms of finishing combos off, and also as an out-of-shield option. Waterfall carries Squirtle quite a decent amount. His recovery game is definitely the weakest out of the 3 Pokemon, though, I feel. Even though you can mix it up with side B like what I mentioned. And, of course, he does have this, you know, Waterfall. That, you know, gets him up a decent amount. But Squirtle is very easy to edge guard, I feel. This is a thing that not a lot of people really talk about. Yes, he is small, but his recovery is not all that sharp because you should be using the other Pokemon's tools more to recover, right? Which, I mean, at the end of the day, it's not the end of the world because you're not playing Squirtle, you're playing Pokemon Trainer. So if Squirtle gets into a jam and you feel like he's going to get spiked or edge-guarded or, you know, gimped or any sort of scenario like that, and you feel like Waterfall isn't really, you know, the most optimal option to take, you can always just swap into Ivy and, you know, do a Vine Whip, which is a much safer recovery choice. But what really makes Waterfall so good and why I love it so much and why I think that it's his best special comes down to its use in finishing off combos and as an out-of-shield option. I think it's super, super good for pushing the opponent away. Look how far away I send Ness from doing that around there. It's super good for just getting people off you. And also, it's pretty much like a sword. Squirtle can be standing from relatively far away. I don't know if it's going to hit from here. Yeah, no, it does. Look at that. It's like a sword. He gets access to so much range with the move. It's really good for just getting people away from you. More so than Nair, although Nair is faster. Like, there's obviously going to be scenarios where you have to do Nair and not Waterfall. But Waterfall also does rack up a decent amount of damage, so it is good. And also, I love it for finishing off combos, which I'll obviously go into later when I'm talking about combos. I think that it's super good for that. Also does combo out of down throw, which is nice. And it's just a high damage dealing finisher, and it will send the opponent far away, as I've already mentioned multiple times. So you can then set up for like a good, I guess, edge guard after that, and, you know, follow up on that. For Squirtle's throws, obviously being combo based, he's going to be using his throws to do a lot of the work. And so you're going to be wanting to get a lot of grabs off. As I already mentioned, you can get confirms from grab off, and confirms into grab off moves like forward air, nair, even just straight up down air. You can actually get confirm into grab, or of course off of F-tilt. So he has a lot of tools to secure grabs. But then what are you going to do, right? Up throw is good for certain combos. In my opinion, it's really his second best combo throw. I think down throw is much better, but it's still very good. You can get up throw, up airs. You can just do one up air, you can get two. You can finish it off with a nair or even a fair on certain characters. So all around, decent. But in terms of the throw that you should be using the most for combos, it should be down throw. You get so much off of it. It combos into all aerials, so it's really, really, really good. You can do down throw. It's not really going to work on Ness because Ness is floatier, so instead of doing the down air, you should be going straight for the up airs. You do down throw, up air. Don't really think you can get the second one off on him. You just got to go for the up air and nair. Yeah. In terms of the other two throws, they're not useless at all. Back throw can nab kills at relatively late percent. Around here, let's try 130 on Ness. Don't know if this will do it. Yeah, it does. So really solid near ledge. So all the Pokemon do have kill throws. Let's try 120. Yeah. Obviously, DI is going to impact that. But still, definitely a safe option that Squirtle has to close out stocks when you don't really want to switch to the other two. And forward throw, definitely his weakest out of the throws. Still good for, I guess, missed tech situation or, something like that. Good for getting, the opponent off of you. Sends him a pretty decent distance. So it's pretty good for that. Now, I sound like a broken record, but Squirtle's combo game is disgusting, and now I'm going to walk through some basic combos that I think that you should really be doing if you want to master the character. Like I said, forward air is really good for starting things off. You can get forward air, very basic, just as 14.2. Can't really get much off of that, but you can just basically apply forward air after forward air after forward air. Make sure it's not going to be true after that first one, but it's just good for applying pressure, carrying people to the other side of the stage, and then proceeding with like ledge trapping or some kind of edge guard. You can also get forward air into back air. Don't know if it'll work on Ness at 0, but it is a very good option. Obviously, it does way more than forward air, so it's a more optimal choice. I personally think that it's really, really good. It's one of Squirtle's best low percent combos when you don't really feel like going for anything off of a grab, or you feel like you can't get the grab, and you just land that forward air. It also continues until like relatively much later percent, so really clean. Forward air also combos into down air. It's not really going to work on Ness because he's too floaty, so I will demonstrate against a character that you can actually be used against. Let's go with... So, let's see. That's a really nice 7-hit combo, almost 20%, very good. Also, get a follow-up grab off of that, start doing the up airs that I was talking about into Waterfall. Although some of that wasn't true, obviously it's going to be hard for certain players to get out of that. All around, I've been saying, incredibly solid combo game. Down throw being super quick as well. You can just easily follow up after another combo with another down throw after the grab, so very, very nice. It's also at a little bit higher, not necessarily at 0. Let's try it around 10. I feel like forward air into up airs. Look at that. Nice 4-hit combo, almost 30%. Don't know if the waterfall is going to necessarily be true. That's another thing to really, look at that. That was 38. That was true, and then the waterfall finisher. You gotta be careful when using waterfall to finish combos, because only in certain instances is it true. In other situations, you might get screwed over if you miss, and then Squirtle's in free fall, and it's kind of an easy punish for the opponent to make. So obviously you gotta be careful for that. What else can forward air do? Have I covered everything? Forward air and air, you're not really gonna get too much out of it. It is a combo that does happen to exist. You are gonna get more damage than a forward air. the opponent doesn't really go as far ahead of you, so that combo could be used less so for, I guess, carrying the opponent from one side of the stage to the other, or gaining stage control, but more so if you want to try and get a follow-up grab. Obviously, the grab won't be true, but you do have the potential to do that since the opponent's going to pop out much closer to you. In terms of the down throw stuff, the down throw back air, the down throw down air. Down throw down air can actually loop into multiple down airs. Let's see. Obviously, it's dependent on the character, but I'm pretty sure you can get a couple off on Joker. It's hard to do because you have to pull back, like I was mentioning earlier, in order to send the opponent out in front of you. But you also have to be holding forward slightly at the end so that you have the momentum to carry yourself forward to continue the combo, because if not, then it won't be true. It's definitely something that I myself need to work on, because I usually... I don't think it's that necessary of a combo to do, because after one down air, you can just go in for the grab and, you know, like with the F tilt, do that. Yeah, you can kind of just go for the grab after one down air. It's not all that necessary to continue the chain and continue the string. And I'm personally for me, I'm much better at just the grab combos. So it's way better for myself to just do that one down air, get the grab, and then do the grab combos that I practice, as opposed to just going for, you know, 3 down airs. And I don't exactly know how good that would be for Squirtle. But the option is definitely there. Another really good thing to do after, you know, you can do it after down throw down air or just a regular down air, is to get that F tilt. Obviously, against floatier characters, you should be doing a forward air afterwards. But since Joker falls relatively fast, you can get that F tilt and it's true. And then of course you get the grab and you can start doing, you know, down throw up air. You can do down throw back air. Forward air. You can just do whatever you want. Like I said before, down throw is really just the essence of Squirtle's combo game. You get so much out of it. It's his best throw. In my opinion, it's one of the best throws in the game in terms of its usage to start combos. I think that it's very versatile in the type of combos that you can actually get off of it. Because it combos into literally every aerial, and also what you can get off of those aerials permits combo extensions. I already mentioned the up throw combos, but yeah, you can get 2 up airs off on characters that fall a little bit quicker. Yeah, you can also follow up with the forward air, do that. So, as I mentioned before, back here isn't really that good for starting off combos, mainly just, you know, dealing the finishing blow, adding on a little bit of extra damage, and kind of just pushing people away. It is good in one instance, however, and that's when getting the F tilt off at the end of it. Just start up a new chain with a grab, which is a massive benefit. Despite that being its only use, because of how good F tilt is, you can get so much off it, and of course it just leads into grab, which will lead into all these different throws, which will lead into different moves that you can use off those throws, such as different flow charts, combos. So all around exceptional. Despite that being its only use for starting off combos, what you can get off those combos is just so dangerous that you don't really need to have, you know, the move do more than that for Squirtle. And besides, it's already so good at the other things that it can do. like what I mentioned before, with just, ledge trapping, edge guarding, uh, being all over the opponent, finishing off combos. So, yeah. And also get the F tilt off after that. The good stuff. Just do combos like that. Like that, you can get into the up air. That's another thing. That's 50%. That, do this over here. Look at nice. Land near into F tilt. Do stuff like that. So do, let's see, nair, F tilt, down throw, up air, waterfall, nair, F tilt, up air, up air. That's a good string. Trying to think of other stuff. This is a very basic one, just the down throw forward air. In my opinion, it's just better for you to do down throw, instant turnaround, back air. Because that's 19 compared to just 15. All sends the opponent farther, which is a plus. Stuff, down throw waterfall, more damage, sends them even farther. Also, like down throw back air will still connect at much higher percents. So another reason for keeping Squirtle out a little bit longer than what people might be used to keeping him out for is you just still have access to certain strings, even though they're not the massive ones that everyone is so used to seeing. They're still good. In terms of Squirtle's combo game, what it comes down to at its core are the basic concepts that I've been mentioning throughout this video. And it's how effectively you can get a grab, be it off of aerial, be it off of tilts, like F tilt, or be it just a raw grab. And then, of course, it's what you do after that grab. You're going to do up throw maybe and enter, kind of juggling scenario. Or you're going to do down throw and get a massive string that Squirtle is really known for being able to pull off. Right? You decide. Be creative. I mentioned before, he's got too many tools for people to be complaining about not landing combos, not being able to start stuff, not being able to do damage. His damage output is very, very, very good when you know what to look for and when you know what you should be doing. Optimal Squirtle gameplay is not doing this, or this, or this, or this. Like, look, you don't even hit him from back there. You're just going to get punished. Optimal Squirtle gameplay is landing the combo starters and doing what you need to do in order to deal the big damage so that the other two Pokemon can come in and finish the job. For strengths and weaknesses of Squirtle, I think that the character is pretty broken. I think that he is good against the majority of the cast, especially big-bodied characters, because he can get those long, massive combos off. Even against someone like Joker, who is definitely not a big-bodied character or a heavy, he's still really easy to pull combos off on because he's a fast faller. Squirtle eats fast fallers for breakfast. They're definitely a type of character that he can get so much off of because of the nature of his combos and how they work. In terms of floatier characters, he is going to have a little bit of a tougher time comboing because he doesn't have access to his F-tilt stuff, his sort of ground game-based grab combos, but he is still going to have access to certain stuff like finishing off a down throw, down air combo with a rising forward air, into which, he can kind of just start mashing forward airs all over the place to really cover space. Against floatier characters, your forward air back airs are still going to work. You should also be able to do certain combos like up air into back air on, floatier opponents. Let me try this against. So even though you're not going to be able to get the insane damage dealing combos of, down air into regrab, down air regrab, into like, down throw, up air, yeah, but you can still do things like this, which are obviously still going to work against the fast fallers, but, it's a good damage dealing string when you don't have access to Squirtle's main tools, because as you'll see at 0, do the down throw, Peach is so high up, the down air is not really going to connect as solidly. I would have to do something like that, which, obviously I can't get too much of a follow-up out of, which is disappointing, but that's why there are 3 Pokemon in the kit, and not just 1. So you can just do a whole lot more. Weaknesses of the character, though, have definitely got to be how light he is. It leads to him getting killed super early, but as I mentioned before, it's balanced out by how small he is, how fast he is, and how hard he is to catch. He does struggle against other small characters, like, for example, Kirby. Kirby is not really a good character in this game, I feel, but Kirby does do decent against Squirtle, because it's like Squirtle's fighting himself, but due to Kirby's disjointed, moves like his down tilt, his back air, things like that, Squirtle has a tougher time getting in. And once again, Kirby's really floaty, so Squirtle doesn't get the kind of combos off that he would get on a character like Fox, for example, or Chrom. Squirtle also has a tough time against characters that have massive disjoints, like certain sword characters, for example, Lucina. I don't think that Squirtle does too hot against her, because even though Squirtle can kind of run loops and, just dominate her by her not really being able to catch him, she has a massive sword that can keep Squirtle at bay, prevent him from doing the combos that he needs to do, and he can't really have access to those core elements of his gameplay, so you would be required to switch to Ivysaur and Charizard to deal with a character like her. Squirtle also has issues with zoners, like for example, Samus. Squirtle has a very tough time getting in against Charge Shot, the missiles, and so you'd have to play a character like Ivysaur for that, who has access to Razor Leaf, and more disjointed moves like forward air and back air, which you can use to kind of just get in. Yeah, all in all, Squirtle just does not really have that many weaknesses, which is why I think that he is the best of the 3. He kind of just struggles against those main sort of archetypes that I've mentioned of, like, sword characters, but not really all swordies. Because, for example, I've already mentioned that Roy and Chrom get bodied because of how much of fast fallers they are. And also, Ike, too, because of his recovery being so wonky. It's really just the characters that have huge disjoints, like, for example, what I mentioned with Lucina and Shulk, who don't fall as fast and can also just keep Squirtle at bay. And then once again, the tiny characters like Kirby, who will have a tough time against, in my opinion. I think that he also struggles against Pikachu and Pichu. I think that he really has a tough time getting things going on against those two. But, I mean, then again, most characters struggle against the two of them. But, yeah. That's pretty much all I have to say in terms of this. Please play Pokemon Trainer. Please play Squirtle properly. I think that there is so much potential, and we haven't even seen, all the true crazy stuff that Squirtle can pull off yet. I feel like there's still so much more to learn about the character and so much more that can be unleashed. I'm sure that there are way more optimal strings that I haven't covered in this video. There's probably some certain things that I missed, because obviously I'm not, one of the best Pokemon trainers in the world. I don't know everything. This is just the stuff that I would use on a day-to-day basis to really go about playing Smash. you know, I guess I'll do the basic YouTuber thing. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what I could do better. I'm very new to this, so I'm sorry if the video was mildly garbage, and if I didn't really, I guess, cover things that I should have, or done things in a manner that other Smash tubers would have. I'd like feedback. I'd really like to get better at this, and see if I can make higher quality content. So yeah, hope this helped out in any way. Hope you learned some new stuff, be it about frame data, some nice combos, usage for moves, how to use Squirtle in particular, and yeah, thanks for watching.